that the Gentiles are now to be fellow heirs with the Jews, members of the same body and joint partakers, sharing in the same divine promise in Christ through the gospel. Now, you know, Paul was called to teach them about this great mystery. And we can read that, we can go over that for years and years and never really get anything out of it. Here again, you got to understand what was going on. The Jews were extremely proud of themselves because they were God's chosen people. And they had the inheritance, and they had God's favor, and they knew the law, and they kept the law, and they were religious. So now Paul's going to come along and tell them, this is going to be a mystery that you're going to have a hard time understanding. The Gentiles are now going to be grafted in. Wait. Now there's a story in Luke about a man who was sent out to work, a parable, and his master said, he came really early in the morning, and his master said, you work for me all day, and this is what I'll pay you. And let's just say he started at 6 a.m. So about 8 o'clock, a couple of other guys show up, and he says, well, you go out in the field and work, and I'll pay you what's right at the end of the day. Noon, more guys show up. Well, you go out and work, and I'll pay you what's right at the end of the day. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, more guys show up. You go out and work, and I'll pay you what's right at the end of the day. An hour before quitting time, a bunch of more guys show up. Well, you go out in the field and work, and I'll pay you what's right at the end of the day. Well, the end of the day came, and he gave them all the same thing. Well, these guys from the morning, they were a little bit upset. Well, now, wait a minute. This is not fair. This is not right. You know what it would be like? It would be like somebody who grew up in a Christian family in Sunday school since they were 2 years old, knew the Bible, had memorized Psalms and Proverbs, was in every church service that ever happened their whole entire life. I mean, they went to a Christian college. They have a degree in theology. They're like super good. And then they have to stand there and watch God be outrageously good to some heathen who just got saved. Come on, who just got saved 2 weeks ago. And let me tell you something, that is hard to swallow. Now here comes the religious thinking. Are you ready for this? They don't deserve that. I deserve that. They don't deserve that. And God does that stuff to us to get us to realize how legalistic we still are sometimes and how we think that we deserve something because of all of our good behavior. And he's trying to say, I'm good. It's not, I don't want you doing anything for me because then you think you're going to deserve something. I want you doing it for me because you love me and because of what I've done for you. But I don't ever want you to think that I owe you anything, because I don't owe you anything. And we, if we had the heart of God, would be thrilled to see these other people come into the kingdom and thrilled to see them blessed. Because here's what we've had. We've had the privilege all of our life of knowing God. We've had the privilege of studying and learning and growing. And this person, yeah, God's pouring blessings out upon them, but they got a long way to go. They got a lot to learn. There's a lot that they've still got to go through that we've already been through, and we shouldn't deny them a little bit of blessing. He says, don't be like that. Don't be the kind of person who thinks because you do a little something that you deserve a lot of stuff. He's talking about the difference in law and grace. Ephesians chapter 3 talks a lot about law and grace. I don't think we can even begin to realize what a shock all this was to the Jewish culture. and what a shock a free Christian, somebody who's really free in Christ, is to a religious person even today. Let me tell you something. The way we're worshiping God in here tonight, you could have brought in a religious group, and man, they would have been ready to hang us from the rafters. You know why? Because religious people think it's all got to be done their way. Well, you got to be quiet in church. Well, why? Because you're quiet. You got to bow your head when you pray. Why? Because you bow your head when you pray. They have all these rules of how you're going to get to God. But we are to be led by the Holy Spirit. You know what that means? God will deal with each one of us individually. You may pray walking around. You may pray laying flat on your face. You may pray sitting in a chair. One of you may feel led to memorize the Psalm. I don't do that. I don't have a great gift in that. I know a lot of the Bible. It just comes out, comes out, comes out, comes out, comes out. But if you said quote the Psalms, I mean, I could do maybe 23 or 91, some of the ones that I've read over and over, but that's just not my particular thing. And another thing that Paul tries to get to in Ephesians chapter 3 is that everything that we're good at is a gift from God. Everything we're good at is a gift from God, and we need to thank God for our gifts. And we need to stop expecting somebody else to be what we are. Now, you cannot reach God through keeping rules. And I'm not saying that discipline is wrong. Discipline is good. I don't even mind like personal rules that you set for yourself, but you can't become legalistic about anything. You know, I spend my first couple hours with God every day, but you know what? If I ever have to miss it for some reason, which I don't very often because it's important to me, but I ever do, I don't feel one little tiny bit guilty because it's not a law to me, it's a privilege.
Thanks for listening. Grow deeper in your knowledge of the Word with today's offer, the Ephesians Action Plan. The Action Plan includes CDs, DVDs, and a personal study guide, or you can download it for a donation of $35 or more in U.S. funds, and we do accept all major credit cards.